folks, a very good evening to each and every one of you. And we are privileged to be on with you guys yet another Saturday for another edition of Alliance on the Move. We are very happy to have some wonderful folks with us. We have the leader of the Alliance for Change, Mr. Kemraj Ramjatan. We have the vice chair of the Alliance for Change, Ricky Ramsarup, Ricky Dionorai Ramsarup. And then we have a Region 6 Councillor and Executive of the Alliance for Change, the one and only Mr. Basdio, Derek Basdio. Folks, welcome. Make sure your mic is on now officially, and welcome to the broadcast. Kemraj, starting with you. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Barbicians, and glad to be here on another program of Barbice on the Move. We have quite a lot to state this afternoon. As you know, we have a teachers' strike going on, and I would want to emphasize certain facts about that issue that we presently have at hand.
Excellent. MP Ramsarup, opening thoughts. Make sure your mic is on.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Sharad, and thanks our leader, Kemraj, and our councillor, Derek Basdio. To be with you guys tonight, I want to say good night to all the folks that's watching across Guyana, and especially those in Barbice. We are here with you, and of course, we had a lot of unfolding the $1 trillion budget. So hope we can get some good discussion tonight. Thank you.
Excellent. And Councillor Basdio.
Hi, good evening, listeners and viewers. And it's great and a pleasure to be in the panel here with three great individuals who recently came out of the budget debate. Our leader, Mr. Kemraj Ramjatan, our General Secretary, Mr. Sherrod Duncan, and our Member of Parliament, Mr. Ricky Ramsarup. And I am going to give some highlights of Region 6 and also highlights because I just came back from the diaspora, New York and Florida, and I'll give some of the incidents and report and testimonials I have from over there within the diaspora. Thank you.
So
I think we should start with him then.
Those are going to be highlights from Region 11. Go right ahead, Basio. Let us know what's happening in the diaspora. And since you're back, what's happening in Barbice? We know some of it in 6. We know some of it. But go right ahead.
Well, let me start off with saying, and our MP was there, and our General Secretary was also there at a conference in the White House with Councilman Mr. Jeffries and Councilwoman Miss Yvette Clark. And it was a pleasure being with them. And after that, I did continue, airdropping and meeting people, keep the momentum going, because it was very important for the legislators of New York, the USA, to be involved. Because everywhere you go, you hear people talking about the richest growing economy, and the country is Guyana, our Guyana. And also they know so much about all this money disappearing. I would say 5% going to the citizens, and the rest going where? People are saying, and it's not allegedly, majority of the people are talking in the diaspora. Even the people, sorry about that, even the people, the PPP supporters in Richmond Hill, you go to Richmond Hill, and they are all so disgusted with what's happening in Guyana. They come and they visit here, and they are saying, number one thing they're saying, rich country like that, and you're getting Marby and Ginger Beer coming off of the tops. In Barbice, the water is so brown. I came back last week, Saturday, and to see this disgusting water, our kids have to use this water with all these kind of things going around with diseases and virus, and we got to go through this. I can't wait for our next statutory monthly meeting at the RDC. I'm an RDC councillor, and I'll bring up so much of things there. I thought I would come back to see some corrections, with roads and streets, but it's getting worse. Rice farmers are disgusted. Look, I come back and it's 5-day strike with the teachers. I feel hurt. I came from a family of teachers. My dad was a headmaster. My sisters, brothers, they're all senior mistresses and senior masters. And to come back and see our teachers for all people, I feel so hurt. Hurt more than anything else for 5 days. They have to be in the sun,
Yeah.
and go through this. We got to do something. The government of Guyana got to do something for real. Don't be in with stiletto shoes, your high heel shoes in your flower garden. That's total nonsense. That's what you've seen all the way in the diaspora. You get a nurse to pelt legislators with shoes. You're not taking care of your teachers. Come on now. And this goes to Ms. Priya Manichan. There's no allegedly, everything is showing clearly what's happening. Every single, from a kindergarten student can tell you. This is total nonsense for teachers to go through. I feel hurt, and I will stand up with them. Definitely stand up in solidarity with them, right? For 5 days, I always pass by Rose Hall, and I went there and I supported them. And it's not political. I stand on the sideline, chit-chat with some of them, also in Amsterdam. Look, yesterday, Ifran Ali came down here to visit the Albany estate, right? Also, come down, didn't even pay no attention to these teachers. And there was about 300 of them there, right in front where the helicopter landed at Port Morant, and they were all still there. I feel like tears in my eyes, like my dad says, who wears the shoes know where it pinches. These teachers know where it pinches, where it hurts, for them to come out and put a petition out there. It's peaceful placarding. And I am going to continue more. I know we get 3 learned individuals here. And I want to say, viewers, brothers and sisters in Berbice especially, we're not going to able to eat them roads and them streets, right? Put the money for the people. High cost of living, high poverty level. And that's what this government wants. Keep the people uneducated and high cost of living with low poverty level. And that's where you're going to want their votes. That's a usual trick with the PPP to keep people in low poverty level and intend to give them a $3,000. But people are smart now. Brothers and sisters, I was at Port Morant Market. And those of you who see me and complain, so much of concerns these people have. So much. Sometimes you don't want to go to the market for watch all these panhandlers, all these people asking for a little raise. People cannot buy enough. How much are you pumpkin? This is total nonsense. And my fellow brothers in the panel, I'll say thank you now, and I'll come back on again.
All right. Camarade, over the last 14 hours, I saw HM, a head teacher from Bishops, and I respect her rights. I respect all the teachers' rights in this country. She was an NCN stating that, she only supports things that she feels a certain way about, a connection, a passion towards, and that she wasn't supporting the teachers' strike. But in the same breath, the head teacher of Bishop said that. She said, but there are grounds, there are grounds. In the same breath, there are grounds. But she made a point that, things have been done. They don't have to submit one report or a next such and so forth. But a lot of teachers, thousands of teachers that turn up on the protest line in this country over the last 5 days, they feel differently. And I feel this is part of what you captured, Camarade, in your parliamentary presentation, your contribution to Budget 2024. When you talked about who is getting what and where this money is really going, and the fact that teacher salaries haven't really gone any place, at least they ain't gone to the 50% that was promised. But more than that, I heard your friend, the vice president, saying that from 2015 to now, teachers got more than 50%. But I don't think the PP went in power in 2015, unless I've missed something. Talk to
Look,
us.
on the issue of the headmistress, I think there is an element of pressure and coercion that is coming. And that is why I don't think otherwise she would have wanted to go to NCN to make any statement, quite frankly. But whatever she said there is obviously given a subject to clause when she says that, yes, the teachers have good grounds for doing what they're doing. And only in today's newspaper, Stabrook News, I think, and another very good editorial.
Well, I was
Which
coming
is-
wrong there.
Yeah, you
Right
were coming
ahead.
wrong.
Right ahead.
But I just wanted to make this point because it is right now in my head that Barbados, the teachers are getting almost $4.9 million to $5.9 million a year, Guyana money.
Correct.
That is about $500,000 a month. Now, I could understand in 2015 to 2020, we didn't have the resources to pay the teachers that heavily. But today, we certainly have the oil monies to pay the teachers approximately half of that $600,000 per month. We have the monies. And that is what the teachers would like to see, a graduate teacher getting in the vicinity of about 300,000 Guyana dollars minimum. And thereafter, even increased salaries. But at least for teachers with training college education, they must get in the vicinity of about $200,000. Look, we could afford lots more. But as I said in my parliamentary speech, they want not to give labor the money. They want to give infrastructure, what we call capital. So that is why we are getting $666 billion going towards roads and bridges and other capital projects, all inclusive in what we call the construction sector, which is the most corrupt sector generally in every country, but far more particularly greater in Guyana. And so who are going to benefit from $666 billion? Are contractors. Who are the contractors? Friends and family and flatterers of the PPP. And they will get at least a minimum of 20% profit, but a maximum of 40%. And plenty of them just make a little bit over 40% with the substandard work they produce. So you'll expect them to get $150 billion and more as profits. $150 billion and more. And how do you total up these contractors? Is about 1,000 of them. Now you got at least 12,000 teachers. You got nurses, you got policemen, and whatever it is. All of them come up 54,000 people. Not 1,000, 54,000.
Correct.
And they will get $121 billion. $121 billion as against the contractor crony capitalist class, which will get about 150. I am even increasing it to 130 that I had said before, because I understand them fellas don't only make 20% profits. They just go up to 40%. So there is it.
Yeah.
And the president come out now and say, but teachers, we're gonna be patient. We're gonna do incremental increases and all of that. Why wasn't the president patient with capital expenditures? Why didn't he say to this contractor friends, well, we're gonna get it incremental increases? Why didn't he say that, look, I'm not gonna put all $666 billion for contracts? And I in Parliament indicated that we should cut $100 billion out from capital expenditure and put it to current expenditure by increasing the wages of all our public servants, inclusive of teachers and nurses and policemen and everybody in the essential services.
Mhm.
Policemen want to go on strike now, quite frankly, but it is an essential services. And you got some others like that too. But they too would like to go, because this is nonsense what they're having. And it is so blatant and flagrant. You're seeing it in front of your eyes. In Berbice there, when you go, a lot of the people talk about how the contractors are living it up, bringing in all kind of fancy vehicles. If you go in the house, all big house they got now, only a couple of years they were struggling. And that goes for all the contractors in Berbice. And there it is. The people could see what they're making. And then they ask the question about how come they make so much money fast, by? And you got to tell them it's corruption, it's substandard work, and it is largely because the government wants to spend money on them. But your teachers who got to train your little kid, educate them in maths, educate them in English, none for he and none for she. And that is how we are critical, why we are critical. And the president finally come out and said teachers must be patient. Well, I want to tell Irfan, Your Excellency, the teachers already are patients. They got they're suffering mentally as patients now.
Yeah.
They don't know how to bring food for their family. So you tell them, be patient. They're already patients, medical patients, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And you got to stop this violence. You got to stop this cruelty of a low pay package for them in a country that is the 10th richest country in the world.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, MP Ramsuru, I heard announced recently an additional, I think they said gas to shore. The president himself said they need an additional gas to shore. I can't remember hearing that as a proposal during the budget debates, the examination of the estimates. I heard other projects are being proposed almost off the fly like that, but we don't have money for our human resource in this country. And I believe we're going to see the public service come out too, because Kemraj, Ricky, Basio, there is a seething level of discontent in this country, and rightfully so. MP Ricky Ramsuru?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we keep questioning this gas to shore energy about the financial plan, the management plan of that facility. If you don't have and I'm happy that you brought it up, because I had a piece in my presentation, in my budget presentation, that Exim Bank refused to give them the money because you don't have a plan. If you can't, you got to understand this institution, and that's what my point I was trying to make there. Just like the Norwegian funds, remember when they hold up the money from them, and it's it's the people money, and they go around and they spend money and say, it's the Amerindian people money. No, you have to get a project, and they are very poor at project management. So if you don't show how you're going to spend this money, for what purpose, you ain't going to get it.
Correct.
You understand me? So it is very important to have a financial management plan in place. They don't have an EIA for that location. I mean, they get it for the layer of the pipeline, but in terms of the plant, they don't have it. We are in some serious trouble, and I'm suspecting there, Sharad, that we're going to end up with a scale and sugar factory.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. And that is a comparison, and that's the thing what scares me, and that's why I have to say it in Parliament. It scares me because we are going to end up with those white elephant projects that they got. Those fiber optic cable project, the specialty hospital, the scale and sugar factory, right? These are the kind of major projects where they're spending money without a plan, without having a feasibility study done, without having an environmental impact assessment done.
Which is part of the argumentation, if I'm to channel Kemraj, that we made in National Assembly. If you are doing your EIAs, your environmental impact assessment, your different studies and so on, and we know they don't have a high tolerance level for studies and so on, you would see these things. What we're seeing now is a whole host of stoppages in projects.
That's correct.
Pump stations, pause, road projects on pause, this at standstill, that at standstill. We said to them, this is how you go about doing it. But they believe you could dream up something last night and come and try to effect it today without any, thought as to effectiveness and environmental impact on all of that, which goes to the heart of what you see. There is no real plan when you see all of these things happening here on Skiram.
Precisely, and that is also a standard negative about Guyana's construction sector. Imagine, Barbicians, you had a plan to make a complex that will look after all our ministries. It was supposed to be at Kingston. And in 2022, the government said that we're going to take some land from Kingston there. I don't know, the police station, probably the police ground and all of that. And they're going to put up some big complex because they're moving the police force headquarters to Brickdam, and they're going to build a 12-story building. So all of them land now might be available. I thought it was to give friends and family to put 2 hotels, but whatever it is, they gave a man $2 billion and said, we gonna want you to start build one building there for look after multi-complex building for all the ministries, right? Housing, security, everything. Then the next year come, and what they do? They said, you hold on to the $2 billion we give you in 2022. Don't build nothing yet. We're going to change the area.
Ogle.
And then they change the location.
So we go Ogle.
To Eccles. On a 10-acre
Ogle, and then it was Eccles.
Right. And then they give the man, the company, I think it's Caribbean Green Construction Incorporated.
Yeah.
$4.6 billion last year, in addition to the $2 billion in 2022. So the man got $6.6 billion, almost $7 billion.
Yeah.
And then they tell the man last year late, hold on, buddy, don't build nothing yet. And the man collect the money, you know. They disperse the money. The company. I hear some people from Trinidad. And then, because they're said in Parliament that they disbursed the money already, but they tell the man again to hold on. And they're giving the man, I think, $1 billion this year. So you can get almost $7.6 billion. And now they shift the place to 2024 to behind where the new road
Higgs
they built.
Bosch. Higgs Bosch.
Higgs Bosch. So is there any planning for a multiplex complex for ministerial location and building and all of that? From 2022, Kingston, then Eccles, and now Higgs Bosch. $7 billion you're going to give somebody, and then I start non-work. You know, it is crazy. That green construction company, I understand, putting up some hotel.
Camarade, and that is what I was just saying. That is exactly what I'm saying again. I'm afraid that these projects will end up just like Skeleton Sugar Factory.
Exactly. That's the point.
Because they don't have a plan, and this is 2024. Election is next year. You see how the man get away with a $50 million on that specialty hospital? Is exactly what's going to happen. But somebody, and you see, this is, and I want to bring this point out here clear.
Well, Ricky, as you mentioned that, I thought you were going in the direction of Basildon Region 6 with the RDC, with the 50 million that was, they said it was a robber. We don't know what has become of the 50 million.
I am coming, Sherrod, to a very important point of our Constitution. Inside the Constitution has what do you call it, immunity to the president. The minister or the senior minister of finance, we don't have a minister of finance in Guyana. So we cannot hold nobody accountable for the spending of money, which is dangerous for our country.
Yeah.
And I want Bobishan and I want people to understand that we do not have no financial person we can help accountable for our spending our finance. So that $7 billion that you're talking about, Cameron, can disappear in the next year. Who do we hold accountable for that?
The minister with the ministry.
It's commanded the Ministry of Presidency, which is having immunity. And it's dangerous grounds that we are playing in our country here, guys. Dangerous.
Yep. Basil, let me bring you in. You know, we're talking about these monies. I know at the St. John's NDC, a chairman was on investigation. And the day before the hammer fall,
there's
the man resigned because
some
people were on the payroll there, some 10-day workers, but the people said they didn't work in there. But a lot of 10-day workers were on the payroll, and as I said, at the NDC now, at the RDC Region 6, they said bandits came in and took away $50 million. What has ever happened to that case and that money? This is how money is going missing all the time, and you don't know what is happening. They had a fellow from the Region 1, one of their fellows they put in there to handle the payroll again in the region, and he just took off with the payroll. They found him coming down to Georgetown to have nice time. Nothing has ever become of that case. The PS Sharon Hicks at Ministry of Marine Affairs she was held in a sting operation that the police set up, taking $100,000 among some small contractors allegedly. Then suddenly the man said he want to push the case any further. What? You see the contractor class in this country. Basil, what's happening by your end, man? What's
Well,
happening with
with
this?
that $50 million, nobody accounting for it. There's no COI, commission inquiries, nobody here, there's no transparency whatsoever. When I ask, there's nothing to be said. Well, I'm going to ask again March, our statutory monthly meeting, and that's not the only thing. Look, they got so much of cricket grounds, right? And they are not fixing them. They are waiting to do one big stadium at the Palmyra. What going to happen to now, the cricketers now who are like about 12 to 16, by the time that special ground to be fixed and open up, these guys' cricket career are going to be killed because there's no local ground for them to play at. But look, Albion Sport Complex was done just recently, and they are all friends and family at that ground. You cannot intervene. A Irish person cannot go to Albion Complex ground. You know, there's another ground right opposite me, back at the Albion Police Station. Well manicured, well maintained. It's only PBP fellas there with a big PBP flag. And for the past 3 years, I'm talking about take that flag down. You guys are not being honest and open up to the people of Irish and Kilkay who doesn't have a cricket ground. They got a cricket ground, yes, but the maintenance is poor, atrocious. All over Berbice, all over. You know, there's no, in the PBP areas, they are fixing the grounds. You know, look at our $8,000 they turn in the sod at the New Amsterdam Hospital. We get 4 hospitals, Marie Curie, Port Moran, Skellen, and New Amsterdam. Why they don't rehabilitate those hospitals, refurbish those hospitals? The bathrooms don't have locks, no privacy for the females. You know, the people are treated so bad. I was there yesterday. I refuse to go to the waiting area after I see all those people because I'm gonna know I'm gonna be bombarded. You know, but I'm gonna go there. I want to go there Sunday. That's tomorrow. If you guys from the hospital are listening, I'm gonna come tomorrow. I'm not gonna do the unannounced, visit. I'll just tell you guys I'm coming because it's atrocious. Look, the $8,000 you gotta go till to cervical cancer for females are great. I acknowledge it. I respect them for doing that. But look at the transportation cost to go to Georgetown.
Yeah.
It's more cost to cure with traveling alone. It's going to be more expensive. Do it in New Amsterdam or Port Moran Hospital. You know, these are the things locally you got to fix. Locally, you got the cricket grounds, you got the hospitals, you got the institutions. Do it here. Refurbish these things. Don't be penny wise and pound
that,
rich.
Derek, because Derek, I'm shocked by that because if you listen to Minister Charles Ramson in the National Assembly, you would assume every ground in this country is in tip-top shape and working order. Minister,
the man said, guy, he's sending money to the diaspora. You heard that one, right?
Like we gotta bring some back to fix the grounds in Region 6.
But what you should do, Basil, and send for us, I myself should do it when I'm going up quarantine, is to take out some of the photographs of these grounds, as you say.
I got them, Mr. Kamraj. I got them. Next month,
Because
they can't change it. They can...
that all the grounds have been fixed in Berbice and that we never spent any money on grounds and all of that. But I remember a lot of grounds were done and they were kept in order.
All right, let us circle back to education. Today's Starbuck News, the headline is "A Ministry in Disarray." Now, I kind of know where this came from because it was former Minister Nigel Darmlal in that social media fight with the Minister of Education recently. Darmlal said to her, education is in disarray in this country. So it shouldn't be any worry or wonder to anybody whether the HM at Bishops or the head teacher at the school there in Essequibo who joined her on the NCN program, why teachers are out on the road, because a former minister of government and a man who is still working for the government said education is in disarray. Now, I want to quote 2 parts of it because I noticed we got some trolls on the live. I want to quote 2 parts of this editorial. Least you all say is the publication out of the Alliance for Change is the key, or it is the Change newsletter, or you might want to say this is the new nation out of the PNC. But this is middle of the road Stabroek News. Results. Students in the hinterland had a pass rate at NJSA in 2023 of 37% in English, 18% in maths, right? Comparative private school pupils scored 94% in English, 70% in maths. And remember, we just heard Vice President Jagdeo saying that they're pouring more into students, per student rather, than the private schools are doing. Then why aren't the numbers reflective of this? This is Stabroek News. Stabroek News says hinterland students, 7 out of 10 students fail mathematics at CSEC, and secondary school dropout rates are about 50% in the hinterland. Right? It goes on to talk not only about it says for 8 of the last 13 years, Priya Manichan has been the Minister of Education. It had a word to the Chief Education Officer, Mr. Saddam Hussein, who recently took over from Dr. Marcel Hudson. He said, the editorial says, we would also like to note that the Chief Education Officer, Saddam Hussein, despite a long career in the system, has been taking a political position, telling the COI, the Madu COI, the failure of the previous government to act on the 2017 Caesar report was callous, right? Absolutely nothing was done. This is Stabroek News quoting the CEO, Mr. Saddam Hussein. But one must ask, what did he and his minister do from August 2020 to May 21st, 2023? The editorial goes on. Mr. Hussein has continued this combative rhetoric in recent days in response to the latest crisis, the teacher strike. Along with his minister, he has doubled down, saying that there would be no pay for striking teachers and declaring the ministry would no longer collect union dues. What a remarkable turnaround, Stabroek News says, for a party which each May Day calls for solidarity with workers. Finally, the editorial says, it is hard not to conclude that this ministry is in disarray. It is time for the president, who seems utterly occupied by oil and business opportunities, to show some leadership. Our children deserve better. Folks, Kemraj, Ricky?
Man, let me tell you something. When I read that article, that it is up to date as one of the better articles, editorials written. Stabroek is an extremely quality newspaper. And
Correct.
We must very much appreciate what Stabroek is doing. Stabroek is that real, genuine fourth estate. Like you have the judiciary, you got the executive, you got the legislative. They call that the fourth estate of the state. And Stabroek does a wonderful job. Of course, now and again, it will put some heavy lashes on us too. But
Correct.
we got to learn to live with Stabroek News as part of our liberal democracy.
I
Because
noticed you call NCN and Chronicle.
Oh, yeah.
The fourth estate.
No, yeah, but but I just want to complete the thought. And it is important to understand that those critiques that a minister gets from quality editorials like that must put the minister and her chief education officer to think and do certain things better. I hope they don't get angry with Stabroek News and want to now retaliate and talk stupidness, because that is generally, when you feel arrogant and all of that, you run to Stabroek News now and you write back and talk a whole lot of nonsense. It will endure to their detriment if they only do that. They should take it in good stead and say, well, we screwed up and we ought to get our act better. And that brings me also to what people like Jagdeo have been saying about the teachers' strike and so on. When he said that, he wants to character assassinate the leaders, when he says that y'all have been filing returns and a whole host of things. Well, the GTU is the bargaining unit for teachers. And you don't go and start assaulting the teachers' union because of a faux pas and something that has already gone into disuse. A lot of the trade unions, they don't pay not pay, what you call it, file their returns, but they do have their financial statements in order. You understand? And it is important that for the recognition of a trade union as a bargaining unit for teachers, you had to get a certification from what is called the Trade Union Recognition Board, which the GTU has. So this nastiness that Jagdeo is coming up, why they didn't file their returns? Why they didn't file? Jagdeo ever file any returns from the PPP? He just ever file any returns? And he got hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars in a whole set of them members' accounts, them top leaders. I know about that. The amount of money they just collect from the contractor crony class. You take it from me. Them got hundreds of millions of dollars ready for any elections in Guyana. And they keep it in certain people's names and bank accounts. Did us ever tell? Look, Jagdeo never had a Congress since 2016.
Yep.
In 2004, I had started the process of pleading at Congress that we must have a financial report, because people like me were some of the biggest, what you call, donations getters. I remember having one at my house here with Shell Mohammed and Neville Sarju and so on. We raised millions of dollars and 3 vehicles from Rose Ramsey Hall. But when you start asking them where the money there, they don't want to tell people like me, I am a PYO leader only, you're a small boy. But you remember, and we never get to know. And then in 2004, I fought hard to get what is called a public statement that they collected $100 million or $5 million, and we spent this. We paid Gail to share of that. We paid whosoever they paid. I'm just using some names as general secretary or organizer for Essequibo and so on. And you state it. But they don't want that. Look, the law also got something that says after every political campaign in an elections period, you got to say how much money you spend. But this law is gone into disuse. Nobody, even Jagdeo, don't produce that kind of thing. Ask Jagdeo if he ever produced anything like that with all them elections he run as president and a party general secretary. None. So now to go and chastise the trade union movement for this thing is a lot of hogwash. This fella is a dirty politician when it comes to trying to knock people down. Always. Ramjatan this and Ramjatan that. Moses this and Moses that. Ralph Ramkaran this and Ralph Ramkaran that. And then he knock all of you. And he alone there now. And a posse of yes men. Never could they question him. And so on. And that is why you get what you get. So today he comes out and he said, well, look, y'all ain't file all the returns. File what returns? The union is a union because the Trade Union Recognition Board granted them certification. And you have been talking to the union all the time. Why are you going back to 1980 and all of that? They didn't file returns. What is the consequence of a return not being filed? Is it delegitimization? Where did he get that from?
But Kemal, is the same union that they were very supportive of protesting against the Granger administration.
Oh, yes.
And then one of them then that the filings weren't in.
In 2018, right? In 2018, I was a cabinet minister. Oh,
it
gosh, you hear them. Teachers get 50% increase. Do you have the clip there? If you got a clip,
play the clip, Sharon. No, you want the clip.
We're going to play it shortly. But I wanted to pick your brain on this very issue here, Comrade Ricky Basdio. You know, an important part of why democracies and how democracies fail is the weaponizing of certain institutions. I saw very quickly the Deeds Registry fire out a statement. Very quickly the GRA fire out a statement. That's
the general,
sorry. Very interesting.
Sharon,
very interesting.
Let me bring another perspective here. GAU. We got to talk about unions. Let us talk about GAU. GAU, every chairman for GAU have a seat on the PPP side in Parliament, from Komal Chan to Sipal Narayan. Whenever those guys strike, it is not political. No. But because GTU have a member of Parliament now that sits in the Parliament, it becomes political. And that's the point Derek wanted to bring when he was talking. So every time somebody come here to protest, it is a political move. Those same two fellas were in the parliament bawling on the throat. And I want you to play the clip that what about the nurses? What about the public servants? 50% increase. Then the other one says, the Papa Jagabats one says, he says, you know what? We are happy that our collective bargaining has been come back. What happened now, Papa? What happened now? You're in the driving seat.
It gone again.
You put a $1.6 trillion, 6.5% can't work. Our doctors in New Amsterdam Hospital and all over. Shame. The standard 200,000 a month. They can't even afford to pay a man for weed in the yard. You understand? Them guys do the doctorate, and the guy said we are living like doctors. How are we? We can't even drive a proper vehicle. You understand? We can't even get our place done properly to say, okay, we are doctor live here. You know that kind of class?
Yeah.
Just like ordinary. No, you have to do it. It is ridiculous. Doctors should be treated special. Lawyers and so on, those persons who study hard should be in a certain class. But here is only the cronies them in a certain level, as Kemra just pointed out. The contractors are cronies. You understand?
And that is where the working class approach and the working class ideology and political perspective of the PPP have gone out completely. They don't care about any working class people now. Jagdeo is the man behind that. Literally a petty bourgeoisie kind of a alignment now. Because they're rich and they got money and they could give the party big donations. You don't have to now go and declare and so on and so on and so on. And the Barbicians must understand that. And that is why the teachers are going to be negatively affected. And you must also come out there and support the teachers, Barbicians. It is a righteous fight. And I want Barbicians to come out that support Jagdeo in cussing them on and saying it is political and saying that, okay, we're going to give all you. Why they don't give the people some more money, as I have said. And you know, you got to be very careful to Barbicians, because I know a lot of you are sugar workers. But if now they're going to try to go and say, oh, we're going to raise sugar workers' pay. You know, they're talking that. They're going to raise sugar workers' pay. Other people are workers in this country too. And they're going to feel offended that a certain set is getting and they're not getting. And that is not good for the harmony in this country that got so much money for where we must live. A lot of people still want to go away. I went to the passport office. I went to in front of the visa section of the American and Canadian embassy. Everybody want to pack up and go away for the 10th richest country in the world. Could you believe? Why? It is because of leadership. This set of leaders that we got right now love to talk about free and fair elections, which is a good thing. You must talk about it. But you must let the institutions ensure that things go right and are remedied. Just like the last elections, they got into power. But now you don't raid the registry. That is the difference between, you know, this PPP and the Jagan PPP. They raid the registry in very diplomatic ways. They put up a contract, and the contractor who gonna win is one of the body pal, and then they will get monies. And that is what this thing is all about. We are left then. And that is why I am attaching a little development to Cheddi Jagan's working class principles here. That they only want to support the crony, capitalist contractor class. And this working class thing is also important. Because if the workers and the middle classes of this country don't get a fair deal, you're going to start get disenchantment. And disenchantment going to lead to resentment. And when resentment lead to violence in the streets,
Civil
who
war.
in this country would enjoy life in Guyana? Resentment, when people see that they're being discriminated, will always lead to violence. Always. And we got enough money now for share, for contractor get some, teacher get some, cane cutter get some, everybody must get some. And all of we go play with cricket, we go drink with little beers and eat with little roast pork and all kind of thing. Why don't we have that? But we got a class there by drinking Moet. Then by bringing in all kind of fancy, big Bugatti and all kind of thing now. Yes. And that is going to create an inequality that is going to be so vast. And them guys at the top there going to touch all the politicians. And then they're going to get whatever they want. Bills passed in Parliament to favor them, all kinds of things. And that is what we are talking about in the Alliance for Change. The inequalities will get so damning. And you at the bottom there, although you might get a little increase, it will be nothing compared to the massive increase that the others, 1% of this country, gonna get.
Negligible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be negligible. Guys, Basil.
Say that?
No, sure. I want to make one correction. When Camarade was saying read the registry, was basically read the treasury.
Read the treasury, yes, that's what I mean.
So I just want to make the correction for our viewers.
The wallets, yeah, our wallets.
Basil, jump in.
Yeah, look, you know about all these, look at New Sam Hostel. They are importing nurses. And like Mr. Cameron was saying, you go to the passport office, majority of the nurses running from this country. You know, this is no joke. You see it. Region 6 is suffering for nurses. You go to their inadequate amount of medical attention. You know how much deaths are here in the hospital. We should do a statistics and show Barbicians what's going on. No, nothing is good here. Nothing is good. It's substandard work on all the streets and all the roads. And I got great pictures for our next month's statutory monthly meeting at the RDC. Also the cricket grounds. You know, there's so much of things I did for this past 7 days that I am back in Guyana. You know, these are not things that I'm supposed to do. And it's the richest country in the world, richest economy in the world.
Yeah.
You know, this is total. Watch. You know, if you want to do something, take a poll in Babujan, Port Morant. These people don't want to see the PPP no more. They are so much annoyed with them. And I'm not making this up. You know, they are making all kind of allegations on these people. You know, they are not going to vote for them no more. They are saying plain and straight, them used to get $3,000 on a red t-shirt. Now, the vice president going in Linden and Belawe money and buying votes, buying people. He's targeting people. And another thing too, he's planting people within neighborhoods and constituencies to take back news. Money's worth news. And this is not right. You know, brothers against brothers and sisters against it. We got a queen here, a PBB queen. Girls gone overseas, 10-day workers, and they're still paying them through the NDC. This is not nothing else but public knowledge. It was a big fight down and abuse down for her. And she get contracts all over the place. She could tell people off. Fellow females, she telling them off. Flouncing her here and doing all kind of crap against these people. Like she's a queen of the PPP in Berbice Region 6. And every single person knows her. Everyone. There's a thread out here that how her name is left, right, and center on the thread. You know, this total nonsense. We cannot tolerate this. But how long? Everybody's saying how long? Every rope go on end. You know, 23 years they got it. They come back again for 3+ years. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. People need to come out, support the teachers, parents, come out and support. Auto workers, come out and support these teachers. You know, you got to feel for these teachers, man. I feel for them.
Correct.
You know, yeah.
Longest rope got an end.
Thanks,
I
like that.
Yeah. And I know I think the others public servants also need to come out and support it, because when you look at the economy, the cost of living is basically almost 14-15% of inflation. So when you are going to give 6.5% increase, I mean, you can still see there's a big gap. And I think this is what's feeling the teacher. And so the other public servants, like the servicemen, the nurses and so on, they need to come out, and support, because this is going to be a national issue, not only the teachers, because today will be the teacher, tomorrow will be somebody else. So there have to be a national issue. This have to be put as a forefront as a national issue, we all should come out and support, the colleagues, because we calling for it. I mean, Kamraj, I think I make a note here when you mentioned $666 billion. We were arguing earlier today that they should take a $2 billion and put it towards a teacher, so that you can take out from the capital expenditure and put it towards that current expenditure, and you can balance the budget. And this is what they need to do. So the money they need to come to you. So you can't come and say that, oh, I don't have the money. You can take out some from your infrastructure and put it into the
for the current accounts, for the current expenditures.
That's
that
what you
is
do.
what I'm saying.
Right, and you create a balanced budget, and you everybody can live happy.
Well, look, I also want to mention before we come out, it is the hypocrisy that is so barefaced about the PPP. You remember that they were saying in 2018, you got to pay the teachers 50% more.
Well, let me play that clip, Kamraj. Let me play that clip, Kamraj, and then you can expand on it.
Yeah.
Let me play the clip.
What about the nurses, the teachers? What about the police workers, the police officers? Aren't they equally important? Aren't they equally important? Mr. Speaker.
I'm glad that the government has reintroduced collective bargaining, and I hope that the public service unions will request at least a 50% increase in wages and
Thank you, Sharon. That's a wonderful
50%.
You see what? Exactly. And look at their face, man. They really love these teachers and nurses. How they're fighting for them. It was all falsities and fake makeup, theatrics, you call it. That is theatrics. Jack, they'll care for teachers and nurses or anybody. 50% he jumped and said. And we did not have the billions that they're collecting now from the oil revenues.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You didn't dream for $1.146 trillion budget. You didn't dream for it.
We did not. And that fella, and by the way, the hypocrisy is all around. They said they're going to renegotiate the oil contract. How, if you could play back that another time, you're going to see how the face make up for fool them Kulia Barbies, for fool the East Indians and Barbies, Oh God, bad contract. Since I've been final, they should have put more royalty and all kind of thing. But the people, we were bound by what they already had there. And so on. But they said they're going to renegotiate. Well, renegotiate now. Now, sanctity of contract.
Yeah.
You gotta uphold. And more than that, they're doing bare madness with the Exxon Mobil too. Then they jump when we increase our salary and never increased ministerial salary increases after that the first year. They said they're going to reduce it when they come.
They never did.
For 5 years, minister salaries were not increased. After we increased it that in 2015, it was not increased. But soon as the PPP go in, they had promised they're going to reduce back the salary. They didn't reduce it. They give themselves an 8% increase, a 6% increase, and whatever. And you know that 14% increase from the base level is like $300,000 a month more they're getting.
Yeah.
They ain't shame.
Yeah.
And you know the Barbicians too. Now that you bring that to their attention, I hope that you talk to them.
Yeah.
From 2020 to now, you increase your salary by about $300,000, minister, and even a cost Ramjat on them. I got shame. I must tell them just like that. I got shame. And Granger ensured that because of 2015 increase, no more increase for the next 4 years. And he ensured that we didn't get any increase. But as soon as them come, them gone and yes. And you know what I understand? They say, but we got the oil money now. Now y'all left the oil money with this. So we can take an increase, man. What's wrong with that? Well, what with the oil money is you don't give the teachers some. Why with the oil money you don't give the nurses some?
Yeah.
Shameless. And this is what I want the Barbicians to be left with tonight. Understand that this set of the cabal that you got, not Jaganite. Jaganite done. It's Jack the White now, and he ain't care nothing. As was said some time ago, this is a fella that was given it on his lap. And when you are given it on your lap and you never walk for it, you don't know how it come. you're gonna do bare madness.
The
And we are
Bilawi.
paying, yes, and we are paying today for that.
Yep. Folks, we have a couple minutes left. Let us wrap up with some final thoughts. I'll start with Bazio, Ricky, and I'll give the final word to Kemraj. Bazio, final thoughts as we wrap up. You know,
Yes.
a new week is ahead of us, perhaps another week of strike. Who knows, you know?
Yeah. My brothers and sisters in Berbice, all right, please, let me tell you this before I close off. Pensioners, $3,000 increase. A slice of pumpkin is still $1,000 slice. Imagine how much we're going to get for that. $3,000, our pensioners. You all work so hard in the sun. You all did all kind of work, and it's $3,000 increase. My brothers and sisters, it's a shame. This present administration is a shame. It's $100 per day. And with that, I say, Barbicians, think about it. You need to put this administration out of office. We are the Alliance for Change, and we are asking for your support. Alliance on the Move is always every Saturday night, and always support us. And we are going to be in your areas, in your neighborhood in Region 6.
Correct.
I am going to be with a team of people, and we want you all to support us, please. We need your support, and you're going to get your fair share. Please support us. Thank you.
Vice Chair,
Excellent,
Ricky, you know what
Excellent,
I'm
one, Basil. Excellent, excellent. I mean, look, guys, I want to leave tonight with a couple of thoughts. And one of it is that, I mean, Basil started by talking about the cost of living. I mean, the cost of living can come down. There are ways and there are systems where government can put in place to ensure that you can cushion the cost of living. And we have the financial resources to do that. We have the potential to do that. We have the capability and the capacity to do that. But as I said in my budget presentation, a government has to know its priorities in a budgetary allocations, wherever they want to spend the money. And I mentioned also there that they probably come up here with an invention where you can eat road. And I had to put it like that sarcastically because, you know what, when you look at the budget, over 3/4 is on capital expenditure. What are going to come to the people? You have to. Human capital resources here in our country is one of the most best in the country. Human capacity and human development will drive our economy to the way that you want it. And if we don't spend the money there, we're gonna lose. And that's why you're gonna find that the airport, the passport office, you got a long line. And all those people that say, "Oh, I got the PPP is back here." You support them. Why are you leaving for? Stay. You did vote for them. Don't run. You understand me? My point is here, when we go back into government, and we will go back into government, is our work now. We got to clean up all this mess that they got here. We got to put a set of system back in place. That all this work that they're doing here, that they don't have feasibility study, all these things, it's a whole mess. We got to go find the monies now. We got to see where to spend the money. We got to hold somebody accountable. And that is what still scares me. I don't know who we can hold accountable for this money. What do you call it? Bilawi. Somebody says Bilawi money. So guys, just bear with us. We are going to be back there. Work with us. Have a little patience. But we have to work hard.
No doubt.
Thanks,
Can I get the final word?
Yeah. Look, I think that the PPP has obviously, because of their arrogant attitude, their arrogance generally, they have misinterpreted the sentiment on the ground. I have been warning them a long time and about what is happening on the ground. But they, in their absolute positions, they feel that we were lying. It is coming to haunt them now. Barbicians especially have been talking about the high cost of living, the difficulties with rice, and we already know what is wrong with sugar. Sugar was demolished literally by Jack Dew's attitude towards it since a long time, and all them European Union money is 111 million euros. None was put on sugar. And then a set was put on Skeldon and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But with all of that said, and the present crisis that can lead on to massive, massive chaos in this country, I am urging President Ali, look, don't bother with Jagdeo. Don't bother with Ashni Singh. Jagdeo in 1995, leading up to 1999, had said the same thing to public servants when he said, I ain't got more than 4.6 to pay Alio. And then when the matter went to arbitration with Aubrey Armstrong, all the hidden accounts after the GPSU put up a strong strike, Aubrey Armstrong, the arbitrator, found enough money after the arbitration to give in 1999 30% increase. When Jagdeo was saying for 4 years and getting Janet Jagan also to say that, the man go and find 30%. And then 2000, 1999, 30%. And 2000, the man said, from that new base of a 30% increase, 29% more increase for 2000. And he found the money. Jagdeo find the money. And a tail between his legs, he gone and he said, yes, yes. But by that time, Janet Jagan come off of the scene and so on. And he happy. Because this is how Jagdeo is. And Barbicians, you must understand that that is what is happening here. But please, Mr. President, I come back to you. Just sack him like he sacked Janet Jagan. Put her out
Make a
of
private
his mouth.
citizen.
Yes, private citizen. Irfan, do that. And the better, the faster you do that, the better for your regime. Do it. Get rid of him. Get rid of Ashni Singh too. They're not worthwhile in there as ministers because they're doing a set of madness, denying in a 10th richest country in the world all this money that should come to them. They give in the friends and family.
Yeah.
And so it is with that I want to end. Please ensure that you do an arbitration as the people have been asking for. Engage them. Get an arbitrator, an independent arbitrator, and let us see how we can do like they did for the public servants years ago, for the teachers now.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Folks, we're going to see you guys next weekend on our next program. Stay safe. Have a great weekend all.
Thank
Good
you.
night.